Hey guys, so I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, but today was a really big day because after months of applying for travel exemptions to go see my boyfriend in Los Angeles, I'm obviously here in Melbourne, Australia. He lives in LA in the USA. We haven't seen each other for 10 months now, and obviously the COVID situation is getting pretty crazy. Um, anyway, so I was saying that today was a big day because I finally got my travel exemption accepted to go see him, which is amazing. So I just thought that there are other people who have long distance relationships who are maybe trying to see each other, and I wanted to share sort of my advice and tips to the things that we've done to be able to see each other. Yeah, and even when normal international travel opens up, maybe people are going to want to be more careful until there's a vaccine. So this is sort of a video of all of my tips and things that we've done and that work for us. I'm not saying that this works for everybody, but this is what we're doing. Yeah, all right, here we go. 2 weeks until I fly out to LA.
So a few months ago, we applied for some travel exemptions. I think in total we applied for 4 or 5 all up that all got denied. And each time we just applied again with more evidence of the relationship, more documentation about why they should approve me to go. You kind of have to write a little, not an essay, but you have to write a reasoning why you're applying for the exemption and why it should be approved. And so we just kept updating that. And then, yeah, on Thursday, that finally got approved. In the morning, I woke up and I saw the email that it was approved. And I immediately called my partner. I told him and we talked about it and said, like, now this is a real possibility. Like, do we really want to do this? And we both agreed. Although it's going to be risky and a little dangerous, like, we're going to be as careful and safe as possible. And we don't disregard or not, like, fail to acknowledge how difficult it's going to be. But it's something that we're willing to work through. And so then on Thursday lunchtime, I approached my HR team and told them, hey guys, like, you know that I've been missing him and he's been missing me and he's obviously living alone and that's really tough on him. I actually got a travel exemption from the Australian government to go see him. Would it be possible for me to keep working remotely in America? Because although I would be leaving in kind of December, mostly when we're in the Christmas, New Year shutdown period, I will be staying for quite a few weeks because it is it's a long flight. And on top of that, it's going to be a difficult flight because of all the extra COVID safety risk and like just the amount of effort we've had to put in to get these travel exemptions and stuff. I obviously wasn't just going to go for like 2 or 3 weeks. If you're planning to do this, I'm going to speak specifically to if you're planning to do this to see a loved one, family, or partner, then I would talk to them and build a full list of all of the risks. Talk about the health risk, the financial risk, the safety risk, getting stuck in the country. Like, I'm lucky going to Los Angeles. I'm planning to stay with my partner and he's kindly not making me pay for rent and stuff like that. But if I did, I would still split the rent with him and stuff. It's not like I'm traveling to a country that I'd have to pay for a hotel for and I'd have to pay for meals every day and I'd have to pay for like so much stuff. And so there would be financial risk with that and stuff like that. So first thing was in the morning we bought the flights, and it's really important that you book a flight there and back. I definitely would not just book a one-way flight, even though obviously like you can do that. But I think just with so much uncertainty and so many flights getting cancelled and flight availability being so scarce and plane tickets being super expensive, so it's just good to have you're there and back. And then I actually had an appointment with my GP today because going over there's a few medications that I need to get. And so that's something else to think of, like if you are asthmatic or if you're a female and you're on the pill, or if you take like acne medication, if you take a heart medication, like any kind of medicine you're on, you need to know, like, you might not be able to get that prescription fulfilled overseas. Like I bought, let me show you guys. These are the disinfectant wipes that Jen that works at the hospital also recommended to me. So the brand is called Clinell, and it just says universal wipes. As you can see, it says hospital wipes. It says disinfectant wipes hospital grade. It's very hard for me to read backwards. And one box of these has 100 wipes in it. So I just bought 2. I'm going to put one in my carry-on with me, and I'm going to use that to wipe down everything on my seat and like my area on the plane, and like take it with me to the bathroom if I have to go. And I'm going to wipe down the whole bathroom before I use it. And then I'm going to have another one for my luggage for when I get to my partner's house, just to like wipe down my suitcase and everything. I'll talk more about that maybe when I get there. Fingers crossed I get there. I'm really concerned, like just being really real with you guys. It's about 2.5 weeks till I go, and we're preparing everything, and it's really stressful and it's really worrying, but it's going to hopefully be worth it. But I am genuine. I do have a very real concern that I could get to the Melbourne airport and maybe they'll turn me away. They'll be like, yep, you have a travel exemption, but we've changed our mind, you can't go anymore. Or it's 2.5 weeks away, like cases in Melbourne could come back and then policies change and then I can't go anymore, like who knows. Or I'm mostly concerned about flying all the way to Los Angeles and then not getting through customs, which they reserve the complete right to withhold entry into the country to anybody. So even though I have the ESTA visa, I don't know if I talked about that earlier, but if you travel to America from Australia, you're eligible. Most people are eligible if you have the e-passport, the electronic passport, to apply for their ESTA program, which is like an electronic visa that you can put onto your passport that allows you in the country for up to 90 days and lasts for 2 years. So like even though I have like all of my correct paperwork in order, I could get there and they're like, no, get on the plane, go back home. Yeah, but I guess I wanted to share with you the things that I bought today. So first off, if you're going, book an appointment with your GP, talk about all of your prescription medicines, make sure you get enough dosages for however long you need. My doctor did also write an additional letter on his like medical letterhead. So it's like a professional letter that just says like my client Vivian is medically requires these medicines. And he lists out all the things that I will be carrying with me. And he says this is because she will be traveling and I have like medically approved her to have all of these things. So that's a good letter as well to have, because I don't know, I get really worried about traveling with so many medicines and having like security being like, this looks really suspicious. Why do you have like 180 tablets on you? Like that's not normal. And I normally wouldn't be traveling with so many tablets if I wasn't traveling for such a long period of time. So getting a letter from your doctor, just sort of confirming that you have on you what they've allowed you to have, could help as well. So getting your letter, getting all your medicines, your hand sanitizers, getting disinfectant, hospital grade wipes. I also today ordered some more face masks online. I usually use just like a fabric mask. I'm going to try see if I can buy some medical grade like N95s that they use at the hospitals. And I know that people say don't buy them, like save them for the hospital people who need them. And I completely get that. Like all of our first responders, our amazing nurses, doctors, surgeons, everyone working in really high risk COVID environments definitely need that stuff first. But as well, traveling and flying is pretty high risk, so it would make me feel a lot less anxious and safe to have it. And it's also something that my doctor recommended that I can try get, and my friend Jen that works at the hospital, so I'm going to try get some of those. What else? The last thing I did was I asked my doctor to help me book a COVID test. So leaving Australia, like you have to get your travel exemption, and when you go to the airport, you need to show them that you have had a negative COVID test result in the last 2 to 3 days. So I talked to my doctor about where I can get that testing done, and he told me that there are 2 types of tests you can get done. One is where they just like swab the inside of your mouth, and then the second one is where they stick something up your nose and it basically goes like all the way to the back of your throat, and that's a more thorough and effective test. And he said obviously for the purposes of traveling with airport security, you want to kind of get the most thorough test to just show them that you've really gone all the extra miles to prove that you are safe to travel. So he helped me book that. There is a fee that I have to pay that'll be $120, which isn't too crazy, and I'm really lucky. My partner is helping me split all the expenses of like my flights and this stuff, because this is kind of a joint effort. Like obviously I'm going to go see him for myself, but also for him. So this is really a team effort between us, and he's been so supportive in helping me create all these lists about things that we need to do before I go, and even texted me after my doctor's appointment asking how it all went and if there's anything he can help me buy from America and stuff like that. But make sure you book your COVID test, and make sure it is for no longer than 3 days before you travel. The remaining things I have to do is get some more prescription medicine, because I actually went to the pharmacy today, and because I was asking for such high like dosages of my prescription meds, they actually didn't have enough of what I needed. Like I needed 4 boxes of something. I said 4, but I held up 3 fingers. That's really embarrassing. I needed 4 boxes of a particular prescription medicine that I take, and they only had 2 on stock. So that's another reason to sort out all your stuff really early, because you might need to order stuff in, and they said that it can take like a week for it to come. So luckily, like I'm still 2.5 weeks out, like a week should be fine, but plan as early as possible. So I need to get some more prescription medicine. I need to get some packs of tissues to bring with me. I need to put some Ziploc bags in my carry-on, because you need to bring, my GP told me that you should change your, my GP and my friend Jen told me that you need to change your mask ideally, if you can't do this, don't freak out. This is just, I think, what like the best possible practices. Like if you're trying to do the highest, safest, cleanest standards, change your mask every 4 hours. So my doctor said that I should bring all my mask in a Ziploc bag into my carry-on. And then when I'm changing mask at my seat in the plane, to hand sanitize my hands before I touch my new mask, and take off the old mask and put it in another Ziploc bag, not with the clean ones, obviously. So I need to get a couple more masks. Sorry, my brain is this. Can you tell that there is so much to do, and I'm freaking out a little bit. But I am also like really excited to see my partner and to see him just after Christmas and spend New Year's with him and Valentine's Day. Yeah, but there is definitely a lot to do. So hopefully this has helped you guys, and I will see you when I next see you. So today I am going to get my COVID test. It's really early because and I'm really tired, so I'm sorry, and I'm just wearing like sweats. So apparently the COVID test results take 24 to 36 hours to get your results. And when you're flying on the travel exemption, I was told that you have to have, to get on the flight, you have to show them a negative COVID test no earlier than 48 hours in your flight. So if you're flying on the 3rd, your test can't be any earlier than the 1st. If you're flying on the 7th, it can't be any earlier than the 5th. Basically 2 days. So it's 2 days before I fly. So I'm the place I'm going to is called Foresight Pathology in Box Hill. That's what my GP recommended to me. There was a $120 fee that you have to pay to get the test, and yeah, the results should take 24 to 36 hours. Oh, it's really bright. So I literally just woke up. They opened at 8 o'clock in the morning, so it's like 7:30, 7:45. I'm in my car, and I'm just gonna go. So I'm like the first person that they test, hopefully at 8 o'clock, and hopefully it's not too busy. And I figured the earlier that you go, the quicker the 24 to 36 hour turnaround takes. So I would recommend that you go early in the morning rather than like at the end of the day or lunch, because it'll just add more time to the processing of your tests. I think maybe they do the results like once a day, and they take everybody, so it doesn't matter what time you test. But I was just told 24 to 36 hours, so to be safe, I'm going first thing in the morning. I'll let you guys know how it goes. I've never taken a COVID test before. I'm a little worried that it's gonna hurt. I've heard that they just stick like a swab up your nose until it hits sort of like the back of where your nose and your throat/mouth connect, and take a swab. So I'm going to go do that, and that's not that exciting, but part of the process to be reunited with my boyfriend, and very well worth it. So off I go. And I'm back home. So that was really quick. I drove there. Some guys asked me to pull up into a lane. They had 2 lanes. And then I pulled out my referral from the doctor and the printed off sort of like invoice receipt that I paid the $120 for the expedited. I don't know if it's expedited, but for the travel test. I don't know if it's different, but anyway, so I pulled that out. They took both the documents and they explained to me what they were going to do. Basically, they took swabs from the back of my throat, and then from like the top of my nose. And so, yeah, they explained it. And then she asked me to open my mouth really wide. So I went, ah. And then she got just like a ear cotton, the cotton ball, like not the cotton balls, but the cotton stick things that you use to clean your ears, the cotton tip. And then she put that into my mouth and swiped like the back of my tongue. I was scared it was gonna like hurt. I was scared I was gonna like gag. or like it would be really uncomfortable, but the throat one was fine. They just like they swipe it against like the sides of your cheeks and like your molars, like your teeth in the very back, and then the back of your tongue. And then she said, now open up. And then she got another one and then basically put it up my nose, and it didn't actually feel like it went that far. Like I did have to lean back. Sorry, that probably didn't look very appealing, but I did lean back, and she did stick it pretty far back, and I felt like a tickle in the back of like my nose, but it didn't feel anything crazy or scary. So don't be super scared like I was. I was really worried it was going to be intense, but it was fine. My nose did tickle for like 5 minutes afterwards. Like it just felt like I needed to sneeze or blow my nose, but I was fine. Yeah, so now I'm done. Hey guys, so today is the last day I have in Melbourne. I fly out tomorrow. I fly out kind of 24 hours from now. So this is my carry-on luggage. So I'm just bringing like a really big handbag. Well, I guess I have my handbag and then I actually have a carry-on suitcase. But I'll go through what I have in the handbag. So some pens just fell out. So in my handbag, I have 5 face masks, and I've put them, there's so much stuff in here. So I've got 5 just like throw away disposable face masks, and I put them in this clean sandwich bag. So essentially I'm going to, and the reason I bought 5 is because, and I can't remember if I covered this in another part that I filmed, but my doctor and my friend Jen, who works at the hospital, who's been helping me prepare for this trip, recommended that you change your face mask every 4 hours. So that's why I just bought a couple. And yeah, I like, don't just put them in your handbag that's touching like everything else. It's touching like your wallet, your keys, your phone, whatever. Put them in a clean Ziploc bag. That's what I've done. And then I've also got a second, and I've just put it in this so it doesn't touch anything else. I've got a second Ziploc bag that's just empty, and essentially when I'm swapping them over, I'm going to hand sanitize my hands, make sure they're clean, remove it, put it into this Ziploc bag, which will be my dirty one, hand sanitize again, and then take out the clean one and put it on. And it's very important that like when you take your clean one out of the bag, that you make sure your hands are very clean. Otherwise you're obviously just going to be transferring any dirt or germs or bacteria you've been exposed to onto your new mask. Yep, so I've got, first thing on my carry-on luggage is 5 face masks. My second thing is some medicine, and I like to just bring this little like medicine kit, and inside it I have everything. Like inside this I have the pill. I've got to make sure obviously I can keep taking that while I'm flying. I've got my travel motion sickness medicine. I've got some Advil. I've got hand sanitizer, and I have another bottle in my bag as well, and I have some Tiger Balm, because sometimes when I get headaches, Tiger Balm really helps. I have reading glasses, so I just got them in here, and I don't really use glasses, but I figured like sometimes when I get headaches or if I use my computer a lot, I use reading glasses, and if I'm going to be away from home for 2 months, then I should bring a pair just in case. Tissues, I bought a whole pack of just like disposable tissues. I got a couple of those. Water, I made a note to buy water at the airport, because obviously you can't travel, like you can't bring water. They make you empty it before you go through security. Disinfectant cleaning wipes are usually in here, but they're just on the other side of my room because I was cleaning some stuff earlier and I was using them. More hand sanitizer, and I have a second pack of that. My second Ziploc bag, which was this that I showed you, and I'm just keeping it in this so it doesn't touch anything. This is just like a random bag. And some plastic bags. So these are my rubbish bags, and I'll explain to you why I have the rubbish bags. This is probably the most helpful bit for you guys, is the printed documents that I'm going to be bringing. So on my list of printed documents is my travel exemption form. So I've got all my printed documents in individual plastic sheets. So I've got my travel exemption form, and I've printed the email that I got my travel exemption from, and the actual sort of screenshot exemption from the Australian government website. I've got the California travel exemption form, which it's not really a travel exemption form, it's more like the travel acknowledgement form. So I have that as well. My work employment letter. So this was something I can't remember if I covered, but because I'm going for such a long time, and obviously I don't want customs or the American government to think that I'm like going to be working illegally in America, or that I am like trying to relocate there or anything. I've got a letter from my employer that says like, to whom this may concern, Vivian works at this company and she's been employed here for this long. And I also printed a copy of my work contract, just like the literal legal work contract that I signed a couple of years ago. So I've got that, and I've got like a recent letter from a week ago before we shut down from Christmas, from my HR like manager, saying that I work here and they're expecting me to come back, and I'm intending to come back, and that they've approved me to work remotely. I also have, I packed some business cards just to show that I do actually work at this company. I have my COVID test results that I just got this morning. So I got the test yesterday and I got the results this morning. It was a 24-hour turnaround, which is great. So I've got to print the test results and put them in the ESTA paperwork. So I've got here like my American ESTA form, my flights, so that's this, so just printing your flight itinerary and stuff. I've got some bank statements, so I've got bank statements and work pay slips. What else? Proof of travel insurance, so I have travel insurance as well, and the proof of that, and then I've got proof of relationship. So I've just got a sheet of paper that has like photos of me and my boyfriend together, my boyfriend's full name, his address, his phone number, and some details about him in case they're asking you like, oh, like, are you sure you're here to see your boyfriend? I am maybe just over preparing, but I'd much rather do that than under prepare, considering how sort of just difficult and scary this whole process is. And that's everything. And then the last thing I have, sorry, is the note from my doctor explaining why I have so much medication. Because as I mentioned, I do have 2 months worth of prescription medicine, so I have quite a few tablets I'm bringing with me. I'm also going to talk you through now sort of the notes. I can't remember if I already did this. The notes that I got from my friend Jen, who works at the hospital. She put me in touch with, I think, the head of infectious diseases at the hospital she works with. And that lady gave me sort of a recommended process to follow with my traveling, just to make sure that me and my boyfriend are the safest. So when you're flying and leaving down the airport, as soon as you board on the flight, make sure you wipe down the seat, the armrest, the side wall, if you're on a window seat, which I am, the tray table, and bring the disinfectant wipes with you to the bathroom, and make sure you wipe down like the whole bathroom if you're going to use it and touch anything. Change your mask every 4 hours and hand sanitize before touching your new mask, and put the old mask into a dirty Ziploc bag away from everything else. So I've already prepared for that. She recommended that as soon as you land to put on a big coat. So I'm going to try fit a coat into like my carry-on suitcase or something. And then wear that all through the airport, all through security, until you get out of the airport and you're about to get in the car, and then take off the coat and put that in like a big rubbish bag, which is why I have the rubbish bags in my handbag, because then that coat will essentially be covered in all like the COVID germs. Like say for example, if you're on the flight, because I'm flying from Melbourne, Australia, where we've had 0 cases for like 9 or 10 weeks now, like the clothes that I'm going to be wearing on the flight won't have COVID germs, but the jacket that I put on top going through the airport will. So you take that off, put it in a bag, and then when you get in the car, put the coat in the plastic bag in the boot, leave it there, and then sit in the car in like your clean non-COVID clothes. And she recommended that I sit diagonally in the back furthest away from the driver's seat with all of the windows down. And then as soon as we get inside the house, my boyfriend has put like a really big sort of rubbish bin near the front door. So essentially you take all your clothes, all your shoes, socks, everything off, put them in that rubbish bag, the rubbish bin near the front door. And then you kind of walk naked through to the bathroom. And that's just to get all the COVID germs off you. Walk to the bathroom and then shower and scrub everything, like scrub underneath your nails. I actually just cut my nails yesterday, and like I have no nails because obviously nails are like under your nails is a big place for germs to hide, and so the shorter your nails are, the less likely you are to have trapped germs. So scrub like in your ears. I recommend that you just wash your hair, so you're just starting completely like fresh and clean, and make sure you just rub all surfaces of your body for like 30 seconds minimum, with a lot of soap. And that's everything. In terms of check luggage, like I obviously just have the normal stuff like clothes, shoes, face stuff, pajamas, jackets. I think it's winter in LA, so it's going to be cold, so I bought a lot of jumpers and check pants. And yeah, that's it. Like, I'm not going to tell you guys how to pack your normal suitcase, because anyone who travels knows how to do that, or you can just Google a list of things to pack when traveling, because yeah, I don't know, everybody's different. But yeah, basically clothes, shoes, toiletries. So that's everything. I'm basically done now, so I'm just going to anxiously await my flight tomorrow and pray that everything goes well at the Australian airport, and then I can get into LAX and into my boyfriend's car and then his apartment safely. I think I've mentioned a few times that I am really worried about being turned away from the border. Like, that's my biggest fear right now, on aside obviously from the COVID and the health perspective. Like, it's just really scary to think that you could have all these documents printed, you can do all the right things and spend all this money on your flights and stuff, and if you just get to the border and they don't want to let you in, they don't have to, because they obviously reserve the right to refuse entry to anybody. But yeah, so I'm just really worried about that. Hopefully my next segment of the video will be from my boyfriend's apartment, talking about how my flight went, and how we're settling into our new sort of lifestyle living in his place here. But we'll see. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope that this helped you guys. I hope that the checklist of documents to bring with you helps you, and good luck to anybody else who's trying to get to their friends or loved ones, family, during this really tough time.